We've had lots of severe weather over the past 24 hours. How did the top of the south fare overnight?
Yeah, so what we had was a complex low system sitting out over the Tasman Sea, right? So sitting out to the west, that was pushing quite a few fronts and troughs, quite active fronts and troughs over the entire country. As those troughs and those fronts moved up the South Island, they sort of stalled. It slowed right down over the northwest of the South Island and central New Zealand in general. And that's where they saw just this heavy, relentless rain overnight. Rainfall totals tended to be up to 100 millimetres for some of those stations for the overnight period, but it's the vulnerability of the land. So as that rain falls in the upper catchments and in the low-lying areas, and it trickles down into the rivers like the Wairoa River, that's where the biggest threat and the concern was for the area. Fortunately though, those heavy rain warnings have now lifted. There is still the potential though for heavy downpours with thunderstorms to hit the northwest of the South Island for the rest of today.
I feel like they are continuously getting hit in that part of the country. Heading north, there was a thunderstorm warning for the Auckland area and other areas too, and there were reports of a potential tornado. Was this a tornado, Heather?
Yeah, so we had a severe thunderstorm watch in place for Northland and for Auckland this morning. And what happens with a watch, we know that thunderstorms are likely. When a severe thunderstorm is detected, that's when we'll put a warning out. And that's what we did. There was a very severe thunderstorm that was tracking its way down from Northland down over Auckland. And it did produce some pretty intense wind gusts. What we saw over Blockhouse Bay and Avondale. Was it a tornado? We didn't see any evidence on our radar. So when we look at the radar and we look at the storm, we're looking for a hook. It's like a signal, an echo, if you like, that a tornado was present. We didn't see that. But what we do know with thunderstorms, they don't just produce lightning and thunder. And in this case, they didn't produce any lightning and thunder. They produce a whole range of impactful weather. So sometimes tornadoes, sometimes hail, intense rain, which is what we got with these, and also intense wind gusts, so up to 100 k's, and that's what caused the damage and debris in this particular storm.
So a huge gust of wind took that roof off in Blockhouse Bay.
Yeah.
Okay, not a tornado, everyone.
Not that we can see from the evidence that we're looking at, but you know, a lot of the times tornadoes in New Zealand are proven, if you like, by videos, by photos, being able to see a funnel cloud and also being able to see destruction with a path as that tornado moves across. We haven't seen that yet, so at this stage we'll just go with really intense wind gusts as part of that thunderstorm.
Right, and these fronts and troughs from that low pressure system, they're heading east, so are we seeing places further east under these warnings and these watches?
Yeah, so that active line, the fronts with the very active rain bands, they are heading east. So we've seen more thunderstorms today, this afternoon over the Coromandel Peninsula, Bay of Plenty. We do have orange heavy rain warnings in place for parts of Gisborne and Tairāwhiti and also parts of Bay of Plenty. And they'll expire late tonight, early tomorrow morning. So there is a lot of heavy rain still to come. But then those fronts finally track away from us. So there is some good news in the future for the North Island tomorrow, but then the focus does shift to the southeast of the South Island.
Yes, some snow is expected.
Yeah, so we then have that low, right? That's been sitting out over the Tasman. That's moving over the top of the South Island and that's redirecting the winds. So we're going to have a southwesterly pushing a lot of rain onto Dunedin, Otago, Clutha, and that's going to produce snow. So snow is expected for Southland and for parts of inland Clutha and also parts of Otago. Snow above 400 metres and anything below that's going to be rain, and we're expecting heavy rain too. Remember, it doesn't take much rain in places like Dunedin and Clutha for it to be impactful. So an orange heavy rain warning has been put in place, and so that's going to ramp up tonight. The snow watch is in place from the early hours tomorrow, and they'll start to see a reprieve late tomorrow morning or early tomorrow afternoon.
So not a great night or tomorrow morning to go hit the roads to get away for the school holidays.
No, we do have road snowfall warnings in place too for some of those higher passes. Look, tomorrow's definitely going to be a day that you don't want to travel in the South Island, and wait until the system passes. Sunday's looking much better. If we're looking ahead to the first week of the school holidays, the North Island's going to be the best place to be, as there's still quite strong westerlies and showers tied up in that flow for the South Island. Tuesday looks like a pretty good day. Thursday. Wednesday morning, not too bad. We are keeping an eye on, though, the next sort of system that looks like it's tracking our way. We'll know more about that into early next week, but that looks likely to cause some inside weather for the school holidays from about Wednesday night or Thursday.
I suppose it is winter, isn't it?
It is winter. It is winter, but yeah, we have seen some pretty active weather so far, and we're not even 1 month into winter.
Heather, thanks so much today.